let me introduce the next storyteller, whose secret fact I was very interested in because I have a similar one. But it was that one of his first, was it your first ever job on a microphone? So he does a lot of stuff. He does TV presenting now and this kind of thing a lot. And his first job on a microphone was being the MC in a strip club. And the thing is, he got fired for not saying the right things. Or no, he got fired for not being explicit enough. And I used to be an MC in a strip club. And all I used to have to say was, "Gentlemen dancing for you on stage now. This is Davina. Stand by show Coco. Coco, you're next." And then I would say, "And thank you very much to the lovely Davina. And please welcome the very sexy Coco." And so I thought, is that what he wasn't allowed to do? But it turned out his boss was like, "Dave, talk about their talk about their legs." And he was like, "I'm friends with them. That's really creepy." So, well done for being an excellent feminist. Please welcome our feminist storyteller, Dave Keystone.
I never understood why at the end of the summer at summer camp everyone would cry. Everyone would put their arms around each other in the theaters and they would just cry and sob and be sad that the summer's over and they're going home. Because I was ready to get out of there. In the community that I'm from, we went to summer camp. Our parents sent us to summer camp. July and August, you get shipped off, all the kids, to these, they're like rustic retreats in northern Ontario, and you're there, and they're like a few hundred people, and you're there together at the summer camp to get away from your parents and be independent, and it's just something you did. Our parents sent us to summer camp. So I'm 17 years old, and I'm a counselor, first-year staff at Camp Tamaqua in Algonquin Park. And I have a torch lighter, and for some reason I think it's a good idea to lightly dust my initials into the wall of one of their brand new cabins. A couple days later, I get called into the office. I'm sitting with the camp director. One's across from me, the other one's beside me. And the one beside me is showing me pictures, and he's like, "Look at these pictures, Keister." My last name's Keystone. He's calling me Keister. I'm looking at these pictures, and they were pictures of a cabin that had burned down of theirs that summer, pre-camp. There was a fire ban in Algonquin Park that summer. You couldn't make fires. And here I am lightly dusting my name with a torch lighter into the side of one of their brand new cabins. And the other director across from me is holding a list of everyone in camp, and they have 2 names circled, and one's Dave Crixton. They said, "We know it wasn't him." So the next morning, 7:30 a.m., I'm sitting outside, crisp, cool air of Camp Tamaqua, beautiful, beautiful place. It's so gorgeous, and the camp director across from me looks at me and says, "You're fired." I was a troubled kid when I was younger. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I didn't learn math very well. I had trouble reading and writing in school. I didn't feel like I fit in. I felt like I was kind of dumb in a way. You tell me I have learning disorders. I don't know, for sure I do. Not diagnosed, but for sure. And then at home, I have 3 older sisters and a younger brother, family of 5. I'm 4th in line. My father's a doctor, traveling the world a little bit. My mother's a doctor. She's working hard. We're practically being raised by our nanny, these 5 kids. She has no business raising 5 kids, but so you kind of get lost, And so I'm like searching for attention in that world too. And so I had issues when I was younger. And I start to act out and vandalize and do bad things. That's how it started. I don't know, I was just a bad kid. I don't know what to tell you. So it made sense that I got fired that day, That made entirely good sense. But we go to summer camp. My mother took me and my 4 siblings to Camp Timberlane when I was 5 years old. I spent 8 years at Camp Timberlane. It was an okay time when I was younger, but as I grew up, I wasn't close with anyone at camp. I didn't actually make friends there. So I was like, you know what? I want to go to a summer camp next summer with some friends from school. So I go to Camp Tamarack. And at Camp Tamarack, I'm there the first night, and the guy below me starts crying in the bunk bed. He's crying because he's homesick. And then I start getting homesick, and I start crying. Next day, he stops crying, and I cried the rest of the summer. Camp Tamarack didn't work out for me. The next summer, I decide, you know what? I want to go to Camp Wanan with some of my camp friends from my city friends. They're going to go to Camp Wanan, and we had a hoot and a holler of a good time. They were all rebellious guys too. We were whipping peaches in the dining hall, vandalizing the cabin, crowbarring windows off the walls for no reason. It was amazing. But none of my friends went back to Camp Wanan, so the next summer I have to find another camp. And so I go to camp. Where did I go? Sorry, I can't believe I'm stuttering here and waiting for a second. I went to Tamarack, then I went to Wanan. Oh, my buddy says, let's go to Camp Tamaqua. It's in Algonquin Park. Let's go do this. So I go to Camp Tamaqua, and I have an okay time, but the camp doesn't like me because I'm a rebellious guy. So they don't ask me back. And when you're 16 years old at summer camp, you have to go, it's your counselor in training summer. So you're a CIT. They have to invite you back to camp. So Camp Tamaqua doesn't want to invite me back as a CIT. So my mom calls in a favor to Camp Timberlane and says, my son needs to go to a camp as a CIT. We invite him back, and they're like, yeah, okay, you can come as a CIT. They didn't like me that summer, so they didn't invite me back as staff. So then I get on the phone with Camp Tamaqua, and I'm like, listen, I've reformed my ways. Will you please give me a second chance? So I go back to Camp Tamaqua, and that summer, 5 weeks in, I dust my name in the wall, and I get fired. Now, you'd think I'd be done with summer camp at that point, but the truth is, if you have to stay in the city during the summer, that sucks. I don't want to get a job in the city. That's horrible. Why would I want to do that? I want to go to summer camp where there are no police or parents. That's amazing. I got to go to summer camp. So a buddy of mine says, let's go to Camp Walden. So I go to Camp Walden, and they don't like me. And then I go to Walden, New York, not affiliated with Walden, Ontario. And one of my buddies gets fired, and the other one gets sent home, so I'm like, I'm out of here. But my mom says, you're not coming home. So with my bag packed that summer, I go from Camp Walden. She calls in a favor again to Camp Timberlane. I go from Walden to Timberlane that summer. And then Timberlane, after that summer, didn't want me back. And then I find out that there are travel summer camps. Aha! You can travel on a bus. You go with kids. It's like 50 kids on a bus, and you a couple staff, and you're traveling around British Columbia and California. It's amazing. And on the 40th day of a 42-day trip, we're in Bryce Canyon, Utah. A police cruiser pulls onto the campground and says, is Dave Keystone here? And he's holding a pouch. And he says, do you know what's in this pouch? I say, yes, I do. That is my marijuana. And he says, I accidentally left it at one of the events that we went to. And the event called the camp called the police cruiser pulled up, and he says to me, we're either going to arrest you, or you have to pay an $850 US ticket and leave the country right now. So obviously I take option 2. I take a 52-hour bus ride home from Bryce Canyon, Utah, non-stop to Toronto. Needless to say, I got fired from that camp too. So that's 7 camps over 18 summers. 7 camps over 18 summers. In the city the entire time during the year, I worked for a bar and bat mitzvah company over those years. And bar and bat mitzvahs are 12 and 13-year-old Jewish kids. They have a coming-of-age celebration, right? And the families sometimes have these big banquets, these big parties that almost look like weddings, but they're for kids. So there are a bunch of kids and a bunch of adults, and I'm the entertainment. So I'm a host, and I'm the MC on stage, and there are a couple dancers beside me, and we've got some lights, and there's a DJ, and we've got prizes to give the kids. And we're basically like leading the YMCA, only these days it's like, teach me how to Dougie, you know? And so that's what we're doing. So I'm that guy. And the guy who runs the company calls me up and he says, listen, there's this opportunity at Camp Wanan where they're looking for a radio host. And I'm going to pay half of your salary so they don't care about your crappy past at camps. The reason he's going to pay the salary is that the Jewish kids go to summer camp during the summer, and so it's good business for him to have a guy on site representing his company at the summer camp. So he wants to pay to send me to this summer camp, so I say fine. First night at camp, evening program for the staff. And I'm standing outside, and I'm about to walk into this dining hall. There's like 200-300 people in there, and I'm going to host Fear Factor. You know, this like staff evening program. And I don't know any of these people very well at all. I hardly know any of them. And I'm standing outside a dining hall, and I've got neon tight pants on and a neon pink tank top, and I got like ribbons hanging from my arms and a mohawk, you know, wig, and I have goggles on, like I look like an idiot ready to go in and host this show, you know? I'm like a cross between like Pride and Mad Max, you know? I'm just getting in there, right? And I go into the dining hall, and I freak out, and I host the best evening program they ever seen, man. I had people chugging, you know, things of worms and taking bites of onions and chugging milk and vomiting into the thing, and it was just unbelievable. And there's music and there's prizes, and it's amazing. You know? And I stand off to the side at the end of it, and the director comes up to me, and he says to me, the owner, who's like kind of a 70-year-old old man who started the camp, kind of like Pied Piper. The director said to me that the owner came up to him while I was doing what I was doing, and he said to me, that's the kind of guy we need more of around here. But for me, though, a guy who's had such a horrible camp past, I'm like, whoa, these people want more of me around here? You know? Everyone rejected me. And then I kept doing this. I kept producing camp programs, and I would get involved in the theater program, and I produced all their evening programs and Color Wars, and I became a huge part of this camp, and they invited me back next summer. And then they invited me back the next summer, and the next summer, and the next summer. And this becomes a place where I get to like exercise all of my creative juices. Any idea I have, they support it. It's unbelievable. I'm like, tomorrow I want 2,000 marshmallows at the dining hall for a marshmallow food fight, and you bet 7:30 a.m. there are 2,000 marshmallows on my cabin doorstep. I say to some kids, I'm like, I'm 5 kids, I'm like, we're gonna leapfrog from one end of camp to the other end of camp. It's gonna take us like 8 hours, but we're just gonna do it. And the kids are like, yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm like, yeah. And we leapfrog, and people are like, why? And I'm like, just cuz, you know? And everyone's okay with that. It's unbelievable. This becomes a place that is celebrating me. For the first time in my life, I'm somewhere where I can be completely myself. I walk in a dining hall in the morning wearing a cowboy outfit and like suspenders, look like an idiot, and everyone's like, yeah, man, you're awesome. High fives all around. Unbelievable. And then I run into the owner of Camp Timberlane one day, and he says, hey, man, I hear you're doing good things. I want you to come and be on our head staff at Camp Timberlane. And so I go to Camp Timberlane for a summer, but he wants me to be more authoritative figure, and I'm not a good authoritative figure, so I go back to Wanan. And then another year, I run into the owner of Camp Tamaqua. Camp that fired me 14 years earlier, and he says, we heard you're doing good things at Wanan. Why don't we have a meeting and see if you can't come and be a part of our head staff? And I had a meeting with them, but I'm like, no, I have a good thing going at Wanan. This is unbelievable. I love Wanan, you know? And I stay at Wanan. I spend the last 10 years of my 28-year camping career as, in my opinion, the best program director that any camp has ever seen. I don't care what anybody says. It was unbelievable. I didn't have to fit into any mold. People had to fit into my mold at camp, you know? And I'll tell you, yeah. Yeah. No, for real, though, for real. Because for me, it gave me me. It was a place where I could be myself. I never experienced that before, and it was unbelievable, and I'm so thankful for it. And on that last night of that last camp banquet, I stood in that theater, and it emptied out, and I cried. Thank you. And so this is super exciting. Ready? What's about to happen in here is going to be magical, I promise you. So I'm going to be the song guy tonight. And I don't perform music very often. But I'm sitting in the field at summer camp, okay? And this camp Wanan in big green pastures, okay? I'm talking big green fields. And I'm sitting in the field and I'm head of radio. And my co-head of radio is sitting beside me, and he plays guitar and he's got a beautiful voice. And I'm just like singing to the skies, you know? Anything that comes out of my mouth, it's all good, everything's happy. Plug in this time, though. We didn't plug it in the field that day. And everything's happy. And I start singing, and I'm singing these lyrics, and he starts singing along with me. This is a sing-along song, by the way, and you can join in if you want to, and I have a good feeling that you're going to, because this really feels good. And I'm singing this song, and he's going like, la da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, keep singing that, brother. That's unbelievable. And so we put together this song. At the beginning of the song, I sing in a high voice. My voice can't actually get to where it's supposed to be. Like if Bono, like I picture what it's supposed to be, but I can't get there. I know Bono could, but I try my best. So I'm just going to keep trying to do that. I hope you don't mind. Is that coming through the speakers a bit? Yeah? This is a feel-good song, so sing along. Trust me. You'll know when to sing along. You'll see me sing what he was doing, and I want you to do it. And if you don't, that'll be strange because it's so beautiful. morning, before the sunrise, well, we all are still in bed. In our dreams we come together. I'd rather live the dream instead. Won't you hold my hand? Won't you understand that we all just need to get along? It won't take too long to love everyone. Then we all just need to get along. And one more time with me, you know. Doesn't it feel good? Won't you hold my hand? Won't you understand that we all just need to get along? I want to see you smile for a long while. I think we all just need to get along. Thank you. Thank you very much.